Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode in season 8 of the Sirtos podcast. Here with two guests who are a blast from the past for me, people I've known for many, many years, and so grateful again to reconnect with you all. So, without further ado, take it away, introduce yourselves, and we'll get started.
My name is Stefania Calogria. I'm with the Sons and Daughters of Alexander the Great here in Boston. I've been part of the group for about years now. Started as a dancer and then became an officer, and now I help our director, George Papadopoulos, with anything that he needs help.
Awesome.
Okay, well, Stephanie. Hello, everybody. My name is Anthousa. I've been with the dance group since 2009, actually, so it's been 16 years. Time flies when you're having a good time dancing. I as well started out as a dancer, went through the ranks as an officer, and nowadays I'm the dance teacher for the group. I picked up dance in Greece, actually, because I grew up in Greece and did it for the last 2 years of my high school there. Only like 3, 4 dances we really learned, but I got into it so much that when I came to the States, it took me a while because I was studying. I was in college and studying, but once I was done, I was like, I got to get into a dance group. And Josh Papadopoulos' group was in my town, was very close by to me, easy to get to. I started there and I've been there ever since.
Awesome. And where did you grow up in Greece?
I am from Neapoli, Voiou, Kozanis. That's a little town in the north, the western Macedonia, west of Thessaloniki, about an hour and a half nowadays with the brand new highway we have there.
All right. Fantastic. Well, welcome. Yeah, absolutely. Tell us a little bit about your dance group, and also kind of the structure that you guys have, because you both mentioned being officers, and perhaps there's some more formalities with your group than most groups who have been on the podcast have. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, we've been, what's the second year right now?
So George started it in 1972. Just loving his Macedonian roots and naming it after the legendary king Alexander the Great. And he always fights for us to get performances. He's our biggest supporter. He's, like, at least for us, he's like our father. Some of the newer kids are saying he's like their grandfather. But he's definitely always made us part of the Pan-Macedonian Association of the United States. As far as our structure, we have a constitution that we abide by with the Pan-Macedonian as part of the youth, or I like to call it the young adult.
Mm-hmm.
And then with that, because we are a subsidiary group of the Pan-Mac, we have our own structure of officers of president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. Am I missing anything?
No, that's about it, really. We try to follow what the association does, but at the same time, try to keep things more focused with what the youth needs in this area to keep them come into the group and hopefully keep an interest on the Macedonia issue.
Does George talk about like what it was like to start the dance group that many years ago? Like, I imagine it was.
I think it was general terms. Just a lot of work to get it going. Get people to be interested in it, get the costumes over.
Right.
Even some dance instructors. Obviously, George knew some dances, but he only knew them from his own for you in that area over there. So he needed to bring over some people to teach some more dances. But he definitely put a lot of work in there. I know. He always speaks that either he had to leave Rula at home so he can go do this, or she would follow along with the kids as well to do this, not only for the practices but even like all the performances and whatever they had to travel to perform. But he definitely put a lot of sweat and blood and tears on it, honestly, in it, because he's worked really hard to get it what it's at today.
Yeah, because I think he said that it was less than 10 people is kind of his first group that he started with. And then, over the 53 years, probably hundreds, maybe thousands of dancers have come in and out of the group. I know we've had over 30 marriages throughout the 53 years that have, for people meeting in the group. A lot of people, have not only married, but become Kubati. So he's really built, I guess, a little bit of an empire himself.
Seriously, like I feel like he's like a godfather in like that sense. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
he's like a marriage broker. But I mean, I can think about like obviously H2, like you guys met through the group, right?
Yeah. My wife Joanna, we met through the group and we got married because we had a common love with the dancing. And George actually was salty at our wedding too. So
and then like Nectar and Daphne too, right?
yeah, I think the latest one was Alex with Magda.
Right. Yeah.
Magda being a dancer from the other group, the Licken and Nidon, they're a very good fan of ours. So we basically try to support each other through their performances. We go see them, they come see us, or whenever we do events, we support each other. But yeah, it's not only within the group, but they meet the other groups, and sometimes those connections happen.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So, and I don't know if we actually talked about this, but you guys are out in Boston. So tell us a little bit about like your approach to people joining the group, because I'm hoping that some people who might be going to Boston for college or grad school or whatever it might be might pick up this episode and talk to us a little bit about how somebody would get involved.
So we are I guess accept I guess the loose term for it, ages. We start at age 15. And then we go up into the 30s, which can be intimidating for someone who's younger. But I think right now our youngest dancer is a senior in high school, so about 17, 18 years old. And it's just, I think, seeing us at festivals perform, whatever presence we have on social media, or just knowing who George is, whether they went to church with George or went to church with one of us. Every time George sees, his old Greek school graduates that he taught dancing to, come to my group, come to my group. Some of them do come and some of them unfortunately don't until they're a little bit older. But I think it's just word of mouth with us, or just any presence. I know we've been able to dance with the Celtics at the Greek Heritage Night there. And we got a few members after seeing us dance there. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll be at Greek Heritage Night at the Red Sox. So,
yeah, I mean, the word of mouth for sure. And we recently revamped our website too. So hopefully that will be something that, garner some more support and some more, members as well. We had one that was pretty old. I think we were basically more like through Facebook, the social media, like Stephanie said, but we just revamped our website too. So hopefully that will help out a lot.
I'm curious about your guys' costumes. I hear good things about them, and tell us a little bit about your costume and vestiario.
So all of our costumes are handmade in Greece. George, using his connections, knowing a guy who used to make the costumes, most of them are from Macedonia. We do have a Thracian set of costumes for men and women. And then we also have the traditional fustanella, which the vest is actually handmade and designed strictly for our group. It's something that George designed himself.
Very custom to you guys. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's so cool. I didn't know that. I also think I hope you guys are getting this sense of George. I wish we could I mean, this is not on video, so unfortunately we can't post a picture of him, but he has a very big personality and so much love for this. How do you see that continuing in the group? I'm not saying somebody needs to fill his shoes exactly, but this is kind of a topic that comes up in a lot of podcasts, is these dance giants. And I would consider George to be one of them, right? They're, retiring, they're kind of stepping maybe a little bit to the side, so on and so forth. How do you keep that momentum up? I don't think I've ever heard of somebody leading not leading a dance group, but in George's position, like having a personalized style or embroidery, if you will, or design to a costume because he designed it. Like that's like next level. Not that I wouldn't expect that from George either, but you know.
Yeah, that is George. He has a big personality. I tell him all the time he drives me crazy, and he says the same thing to me, but he has a heart of gold. He is, we will yell at each other all the time.
Okay.
And H2 knows, he sees it. But he has so much love for all of us and just for the Greek culture, the Macedonian culture, the love of dance.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it has to be somebody that keeps, keeps up with the group and staying and wants to put that effort in there. It's definitely a lot of work, and it's not only just learning and teaching the dances, but then to go out there and keep the connections that he has with the churches to be able to keep getting all the performances that we have and anything else like that. So there has to be, it'll be somebody very special that's going to have to fill in his shoes. I mean, I want to say he still feels like his son can do it, Tony.
Yeah.
It's been a while since he's been with the group. I mean, once he's got the family, but, never say never. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
he misses it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Maybe we'll include a picture of George somehow on the Instagram.
You're using our website. We have pictures of George over there with the dance group there, so you certainly can take whatever we have on our website.
Awesome. So we know a little bit about your costumes, and we've obviously, like, that's the word on the street. You guys have beautiful costumes and beautifully taken care of. Talk to us about how you kind of curate the sets that you do, because I feel like as a group, you guys perform in so many different spots. Like you highlighted Greek Heritage Night with the Celtics and the Red Sox, which are, different types of performances, but you all have like a significant kind of summertime festival obligation in terms of all the places that you perform. So talk a little bit about where you're performing, and then also how do you curate the sets for that? How do you, plug people into that?
So, good question. You want
We're a Macedonian group, and we primarily do dances from Macedonia, but however, we also perform from other parts of northern Greece, Epirus and Thrace and Thessalia. So we usually try to do two different kinds of programs. Like this year, we're concentrating on Epirus and Macedonia. So this weekend, we're actually performing Friday and Saturday at the Annunciation in Woburn. And we'll be doing a mix of both, I guess, genres or both areas of Greece for really the season.
Yes.
And then I think kind of in September, when we do have a couple more festivals that go on in September, we'll start probably, we'll continue with the Birotica and the Macedonica, but then we'll also go back to the Thrakiotica and pick up our repertoire from there as well.
Yeah. I mean, basically, it's the Macedonia dances that we're trying to go through a lot of different ones every year. Since it's our main set, we don't want to repeat the same ones all the time. But then when it comes to changing the region, we are trying to mix in the Thrace and Epirus, and the few dances that we know over there. Obviously, we don't know them all, but that's why we keep trying to go to places like Leografia to learn some new ones as well.
That leads perfectly into my next question about how you all continue your education.
So yes, this is the first time I was able to figure out a way that I could go to Montreal and attend La Grafia. Ever since I've been in the Sons and Daughters, I've heard about it and it always wanted to go, and finally I made it happen. And it was a totally different experience than any other dance conference that I have gone to. It was so much fun, very well organized. Having a instructor from Thraki, which is kind of what I think really took a hit as to why I wanted to go so bad, because we do the Thrakiotica. He was a very well-educated instructor. whenever he was dancing, whether it was teaching or at the Glendy at night, he always had this huge smile on his face, which, kind of warmed my heart that these instructors aren't just here for a job, that he had the passion and he's loving that everyone is coming together to keep these traditions and to keep learning. Like I said earlier to you when we were talking, I learned there were other regions of Skiros and Sephiros, and then also Arcadia. Unfortunately, our group doesn't do a lot of Nishotika, but I actually also teach the group at my church. So I'm able to hopefully use the skills that I learned and the traditions and the meanings of the dances eventually down with my church and my kids down there.
Awesome. What age group do you teach?
So we have a group, we start at age 5 and go to seniors in high school. And then once they are in that senior year, I start to bug their ear about joining the sons and daughters. So I may have a couple coming in September, but we'll see.
I love that. I love that. I mean, you got to constantly put the bug out there because also I feel like too, like sometimes people, although you guys are such like a welcoming group. I mean, we've known each other forever, like, I mean, it's been like probably close to
At
like
least 10
20
years.
years. Yeah. I was gonna say
Yeah.
like, I'm going for my college 20th reunion on Friday. So I'm like, okay, we started Fotia like after a little bit after that, right? So definitely like let's say 15 years, call it like kind of even, but you guys are so warm and friendly and welcoming. Yet I think sometimes people just need like that extra little like push or like bug, especially that young adult kind of age, like high school, all that stuff. It's like, no, really, we want you to come join us. And I think that can make the difference for people feeling like included. So good for you guys.
How does stuff, I guess, how would you give an intro there for someone not knowing, kind of wanting to come into the group and knowing what you guys are, how it's kind of structured and all that business?
Yeah, I mean, I would think for that, I would have to say that this, introducing it to somebody brand new that doesn't know what we're about. Honestly, to try to keep it clear from the beginning that mainly Macedonian group, that's the main dances that we have, but we do throw in the mix of the other northern Greece regions like Thrakia, Niperis, and Thessalia. We keep trying to either have fresh new dances or at least dances we haven't done for a couple of years at least, because when it comes to the Macedonian side, at least we have so many, and it's tough to always cover them all in a season. So you try to get at least through 20, maybe 30 dances to be able to do the sets in 1 year that you have for all the performances, especially since June and September are really our busiest times, and we end up having 2 performances a weekend at a church. So we try to go 20 to 30 dances a year, through them to teach somebody. And on your question on age groups, no, we're really just one. As Stefania mentioned, the youth group that we are part of for PAMAC, we've always tried to keep it between the 15 and 35. I'm a little bit over that myself. I'm trying to get myself on that exclusion spot because I'm the teacher too.
I know there's a big issue just in general with bringing in people to this, because there's a lot of kids that if they don't grow up in Greek dance, when they get older, they don't really want to be a part of it. Or if they find out, they're like, oh, I really wish, I had started when I was younger and knew more about this, from a younger age. Look to, carrying everything on in the future of the Pan Macedonian.
Aside from the performances and the work they would do with the group, we also try to socialize with the group too, I think after Monday night practice, people usually go out for like a quick bite to eat. Over the weekend, we try to meet up, or we would do the performance at the festival. We actually try to stick around and still dance with everybody, even if it is just like some of the easier dances, Kalamatiana, Hasaposerica that they do at the festivals, any simple Nishotika or whatever. Yes, we don't do them as a group, but enough of us know them that we can show just the basic steps to everybody in order to be able to join the circle and feel included. But basically, we're trying to find those opportunities all the time to socialize with everybody in the group, not come to practice. We don't see you until next Monday. come to performance. We want to see you again until the next performance. No, we don't. We try to be friendly, keep spending time with everybody as much as possible whenever, so, because, it's good to learn it. I think the socializing part is also what keeps people, because if you try to show interest in the other person and keep keep them included in the circle, they'll keep coming back instead of just seeing it as something that they do on the side. They not really want to spend more time beyond a Monday evening.
Absolutely, absolutely. I really think that's what is huge with retention is when you feel that you've become a part of something, you don't leave it easily. So that's great that you guys are so active and social that way.
Yeah, I agree. And I think too, like perhaps this is a little bit of a generalization, but like the festivals on the East Coast are kind of different than other festivals. Like when I first moved to DC, there wasn't a ton of dancing by non-dance groups at the festivals. Yet when you go to like the festivals in your area, it's like if the band is playing, people are dancing all the time, like not necessarily dance performances, but just people enjoying themselves. So I love that you guys were like, we stay and hang out with people because I think that's so important. Like somebody could come to your dance group and be able to do all your dance group's dances, but that's it. And it's like, that's a great way to like broaden their point of view or like get them to learn a bit, or even to get somebody like comfortable with just dancing with the group who maybe might be new to the group or whatever it is.
And one of the things we have done in the past is we had shirts made that say sons and daughters, so that if people saw us performing and then we're hanging out afterwards, they might, maybe are, shy to go up to H2, but might come up to, someone else in the group. They can kind of build that connection and then say, be like, yeah, come to practice. Like, you don't have to be an expert dancer. I mean, we've had a couple people and do have a couple of people who did not grow up going to Greek school and learning anything besides a kalamatino that one of their parents taught them when they had to go to a family wedding. And they're really enjoying it. And so I think that's how we just kind of try to share the love.
So important. I feel like the Pan Mac community is like having a moment. Like y'all have been around, obviously it's not new, but I feel like with like the Pan Macs in Philly, which Steve's episode will be coming out soon, as well as like, I mean, I guess I could say Philly. I feel like there are some other societies around, but you guys are like big time, right? Like you go to parades, you participate in stuff. So tell us, outside of like dance and performances where maybe a church or a community is hiring you guys, like where else can people see you? Because I think it's awesome just seeing how much you guys have grown and where you all are at.
I mean, besides the Greek Heritage Nights, like the one that's coming up on June 10th in Boston for the Red Sox, we perform anywhere. We get invitations. I manage the group's email, and sometimes I'll just get an email from a nursing home or a high school or some sort of town center doing a cultural event, and they want to include Greece, so they've reached out to us to hopefully do a performance. We also perform at baptisms, weddings, bridal showers.
We did one.
Yeah, yeah.
Stop at a bridal shower.
Yeah, second one in like 2 years.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
And then you guys were at obviously the Boston Greek Parade. Were you at Philly this year?
No, we weren't at Philly, but we went to New York.
New
We
York.
went to
Okay.
the New York one. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Which one do you like better?
Starting drama up.
I mean, going to New York is always fun because they have a completely different Greek scene, but their parade is so much bigger than Boston, where, they have the groups lined up on 3 different streets, and then the floats are lined up at 3 other streets further up. So it can get a little chaotic and seem disorganized, but I know that they have it down to their own T. But I mean, Boston for us, I think a lot of people say it's not a parade without George Papadopoulos and his Dulama, because he is still, front and center, and he is our group, and we are just the background that make them happen, I guess.
I was actually in Boston the end of March into April, I think. Yeah, it was like March 30th through April something for a conference. And I was like, man, I wish that the parade, you guys were a little bit late this year, which rightfully so. For those of you who are not familiar with Boston weather, you can get full out like real snowstorms
In
I'm gonna
April.
call it the
Yes.
spring.
We have had a canceled parade due to snow and sleet just a couple years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, thank you. But Boston is amazing. So okay. So we always ask this question, and this is super subjective. So you guys might have totally different opinions on this. What would be your advice for people who are trying to keep their group going, right? Like George obviously has been super involved in this. We know you guys have been around for 50 something years. There's also a lot of movement but behind the Macedonian society, you know, in the States in general. Like I would say it's similar in structure in a way to like how some of like the Cretan societies are and stuff like that, right? There's like a plan and a structure and charters and all this stuff. There's formalities to it. But what advice would you give somebody?
But teaching, I think it really depends on the person too, because I really love, the dancing and a lot of the dances that we do. Uh, in general, just love all the dances that I can learn, and I can pass that on for sure. That's why I kind of try to keep it fresh and make sure that either we do new dances or we get in dances that we haven't done in a while. And keep it open to the questions all the time, never shut down anybody. And I actually try to like force questions out of people because I don't want them to be embarrassed. Like, listen, there's nothing you can be embarrassed about over here. You're here to learn, and I'm trying to teach you. That's how I can help you best if you actually ask me the question. So like the teaching is really, if you enjoy what you do, it's not a job, it's not a thing. It's like it's something that you love doing, and it just comes naturally. And I always keep my self open to some criticism. Sometimes I remember one step wrong, and Stefania will correct me over here, which is fine. Trying to keep all these different details in mind when you're also trying to work and trying to erase family too. It can be a little bit too much. You can forget sometimes a few things. But and
It's a girl step that have to correct him. He's not as dainty.
I mean, H2, listen, if I was to describe you, I wouldn't use the word dainty, but I do think
thank you.
of teaching both roles too. I feel like that's
Yeah.
hard. That's not easy for an instructor, you know?
Yes, certainly. So yeah, that's it. I mean, if you enjoy what you're doing, it really doesn't become a difficult thing to do at all, and you find ways to make it interesting for others to keep in it. I always try to be encouraging to others. Like that's why I kind of push for the questions, but at the same time, keep it up. You're learning. Try to give those encouraging words there so they can, don't feel discouraged to come back next time. I think overall the thing is, no matter what, while we try to. Um, keep keep the culture alive and keep it moving from the one generation to the next, as we are over here in the diaspora. Thing is to remember people are coming to have fun, meet new people, and maybe create their own little community right there with the people they were, because we are our own community. If you think about the dance group, we meet with other dancers and we're always thinking about the dance. You've got to go up there and dance with a new song comes on or a different one we haven't done in a while. Everybody will be happy to come up there and dance with you. So, you are your own little community, and, once people see that, they kind of want to stick around as well.
I mean, as far as like keeping the group going, it's I think just making sure that everyone is included, participating in any events. Like we go to the Macedonian conference or convention that takes place in New York every year. Usually where we are the entertainment for the gala that they have. And I mean, it's just kind of, keeping those relationships, being introduced by George, for me especially, just to know people and having other events. Like this year we had a pre-parade Glendy, where we were able to, we had just over 100 people. And I want to say there was, maybe 10 people that were 65 and older, and everyone else was 40 and younger, which was great. We had some people from the local colleges that came, and it helped, putting it on Instagram and just kind of sending it to those targeted groups to let them know that we are there and to come and join us. But I think, like H2 said, just, sharing our culture, having people ask questions, making sure that they feel included. We Greeks are known to be dramatic, to limit the drama, limit the clickiness, and just try to, make this an extension of your family and just upholding the traditions that you may have or the group may have and moving forward.
Bravo, bravo. I mean, in all fairness, we did invent drama. So the other thing that we love asking people, and I think it's a really great question for different perspectives, is what legacy do you guys want to leave behind? What is it that would be is your ultimate personal goal in doing all this?
I think for me, I love Greek dance so much. I love Greek music in general. You get in my car and it will be Greek music. There will be no American music there. So for me, especially learning what I've learned with the sons and daughters and gone the places that we've gone, going to Greece, having the opportunities to go down and see our friends in Philadelphia with the Pan Mac, and going to New York. It's just sharing the love that I personally have for Greek dance. And that's one of my biggest goals when I'm teaching with the kids at my church. And I see a few of them starting to kind of pique their interest. Right now, they're on this tsamiko kick and learning the figuras to tsamiko. So maybe H2 and some of the other boys can come down and help them with their figuras. But I know that when I was going through a hard time after losing my dad, listening to the traditional Papadopoulos music kind of really helped me get over that. So I see it as a calming nature and something that I guess brings me to my happy point. So if that can be shared upon someone else, then I've accomplished that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I would think something along the same lines. I mean, for me, especially since after, I've started a family, honestly, hopefully they can at least get into the dance and they don't have to become teachers. They don't have to become, do exactly what I'm doing. But as long as they get into that a little bit too, and they want to maybe help keep the culture alive. But honestly, at the end, it is really just thinking about how the culture can keep on going and do what you can do to keep spreading it around. If I can do that through showing how happy I am when I'm dancing, and that's all that matters.
Bravo. Wonderful.
Well, the creation of that community that you said, but also keeping your body moving is one thing. Because when people retire and they have nothing else to do, yes, it keeps them busy, keeps them moving, so they'll get a little bit more fit, or at least they're moving instead of sitting down. But then it does also lead to the mental health, because it's not only, hey, I'm fit now, I can move. I'm not like worried about hurting all the time or just sitting down all the time, but I'm also making some friends too.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh, we should start a senior citizens dance group. We should start. Could you imagine? They'd be so cute.
I mean, if we're still off the record, I mean, the point I brought that up, right? My grandfather, for as long as I can remember, he's like 84 right now or something.
God
He's
bless.
he's been a shepherd. He's been out with his sheep and the goats for as long as I can remember. He had some problem with the knee that basically the doctor said was getting pretty bad, and he wouldn't be able to really keep up all that walking, so he had to kind of give them up. But then he was just like getting stir crazy, didn't know what else to do. So he went ahead and bought like six sheep again, just to keep himself busy a little bit with that. But the point being, like, nobody's really ever wants to sit down and do nothing, especially if they're by themselves. So talking about mental health, like if that Greek dancer can bring you into a new community, make new friends, and even keep you fit as well, that's definitely a big mental health boost right there.
Have you guys ever thought about going to like competition? So the Pan Max in Philly, they went to HDF for the first time last year. But what are your thoughts on that?
We actually were discussing it this year, right?
I know.
How can we do it? Like, yeah.
I think it's always kind of been in the back of our minds, and we actually have one member who's in the group who's actually from the West Coast and performed at FDF many, many times. And then we have another friend who was also involved in FDF. I think we do too much choreography, though, to kind of spice up the dances, so it's not just.
We'll have to step back.
Yeah, we'll have to take out our choreography, which George is very proud of, and it's very creative what he's done, especially with Indica. So I don't know. I think it's always in the back of my mind, or our minds, I should say, but I don't know if between his busy schedule at home and now adding another child, and then me spreading my wings too thin. I don't know if we'd be able to have the commitment maybe one day. I don't know. It's something that I think that's just in the back of our head. It's always kind of.
It's definitely worth the experience at some point. So yeah.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you guys are thinking about it is a great start. So
Yeah.
put it on the back burner. Let it simmer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say, like, if you're free this coming January, I feel like with HDF celebrating its 25th anniversary in New Orleans, that'll definitely be like a really fun one just to even go as a as a spectator, you know?
Yeah. I was actually talking to one of the girls from Philadelphia who was at La Grafia, and she was like, "Yeah, you should come down to New Orleans next January." And I was like, "Maybe we'll see. Like, at least, just to go and to support our fellow Macedonians."
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, they're performing now there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did great, and it's always a good it's definitely a good weekend. And I feel like New Orleans will be extra fun. Like, this was really fantastic, guys. Thank you so much. It was so good to like reconnect after a whole bunch of years.